The clock is ticking for police in Aruba. Gary Giordano, the only person of interest in an American woman's disappearance and the last person to see her alive, could be set free. That's right. Police have been holding Giordano for questioning, but his lawyer says that if police don't have any evidence, well, they have to let him go.
Giordano reported that American Robin Gardner, he reported her missing after an alleged snorkeling accident. And now investigators are trying to figure out what they can do, if anything, to hang on to him. Joining us now, former prosecutors and active defense attorneys Kisha, Hebbon, and Joey Jackson. Good to see you both. Thanks very much for being here.
Pleasure, Rick.
Good to see you too.
What he said was that the current, I believe, was what pulled her out, and he didn't actually see what happened to her. But what about his story, Kisha, do you think the investigators there think is so suspicious? Why are they holding on to him?
To be honest, I don't think there's anything there. The fact that he was with her, he was the last person with her, and she disappeared. Now, I believe his story is highly likable, possible. You know, the current could be strong, and it pulled her back, and he notified authorities right away. So I think the suspicion, or actually there's no suspicion, but they feel like, okay, we're grasping at straws. This is the only suspect we can try to pin this on.
But Joey, friends say there's no way she would have even gone into the water.
Absolutely. Kisha, likely story. Come on. This smells and you know it does. Look, here's the point. Is there enough for a conviction at this point? Perhaps not. But is there enough to hold him? Absolutely. Just very briefly, under Rubin law, what's going to happen is that they have to go tomorrow, have a hearing, and if they're able to convince the judge there's enough probable cause, they'll get an 8-day extension, and then thereafter, if they want to bring charges, they have 60 days in which to build their case. Now,
but there's no probable cause here.
Of course there is.
And this story about, oh, she would never go snorkeling because she doesn't want to mess her hair and her makeup up, come on.
Well, there are more stories, Kisha. Yeah. His ex-wife, for example, says that he had a history of getting physically violent with her, and other ex-girlfriends have come forward that I guess raised some question about his anger management abilities, but that still is no proof that he was involved in the disappearance of this girl.
There's no proof, and guess what? No one ever turned up dead. No one ever turned up missing. And he's on vacation. There are no witnesses, absolutely no witnesses to say they were arguing, he threatened her, there were any problems in the past. She went on vacation
willingly. Let's talk about a couple of things. First of all, let's talk about all of these past people who are coming out of the woodworks, the orders of protections and everything else. They could be bitter, but it's in court records. Now, let's talk about it. It's highly relevant and probative. Why? Because you talk about motive, intent, opportunity, common plan, a scheme. So all these past instances where he's had these transgressions against these females, they come up and they're going to, you know, come into play here. In addition to that, they're searching for witnesses, the authorities are. They can't find anyone who even sees them in the water, much less them snorkeling. And furthermore, his story is contradictory. Now, authorities have not specifically said what contradicts what, because you have to protect the integrity of the investigation. But we know that they're not satisfied that what he's saying, Rick, Heather, makes sense.
And it makes a lot of sense.
But at least one of those occasions, I have to bring this up because I find it just bizarre, dressed like a deer and hid in the woods so that he could watch an ex-girlfriend.
Well, we don't disagree that he's an obsessive lover.
I mean,
but come on, there's no evidence of that in Aruba.
Well,
he's a rich man. He took this woman on vacation. She got a little adventurous and went snorkeling.
Well, Kisha, you know why there's no evidence? The reason there's no evidence, Kisha, is because he got rid of the evidence. Look, he's the only one who says, I'm out there with her, and there was this current that came, and all of a sudden I was back on shore, and she was nowhere to be found. That's suspicious. His repeated stories to the investigators are completely contradictory. They will release in time the specific nature of those contradictions. It doesn't make sense, and the fact that he went to the police to report it, we're going to find out. But the fact that he went to the police to report this, to me, that's sort of his alibi. What would he say time later?
He would have got on that flight and head back to the United States the same day. He waited until her mother arrived in Aruba to help look for her.
What do you guys make of the fact that they're searching his home? I think he's from Maryland.
From Maryland. They're basically trying to find out
what's there.
Yeah, the FBI is involved because they want assistance to look at the things at home, to check his computers, to see if there's any indication that he could possibly kill this woman. But again, there's no evidence. They can look. That's a part of our judicial system.
They could, but you know what they're going to find on that computer? They're going to find even more transgressions against females. They're going to find even more further bad acts.
Being charged with murder. Two totally different things. He was a bad boyfriend.
But you know what it does? And Kisha, I agree to the extent right now. Is there enough to convict the guy? No. But is there enough to hold him, to build the case? Absolutely. There's probable cause. They're going to hold him, and he's going to be held accountable.
How about beyond this case? Is this a situation where people are learning no body, no evidence. I mean, this is not the first time that we're hearing about
What
this.
about Aruba? I'm not many of my daughters
Aruba.
go to
It's
Aruba.
crazy. Two things,
You know?
two lessons. Number one, this whole online dating, stay away from it completely.
Right.
This was an online type of situation
But they
where
did
he
know
met
each
her.
other for a year, Belle. I think one of her friends,
And had argued and had problems, but...
Which was an
Then she
indication
still
right
went.
then and there.
and she had a boyfriend. which
But
is
she does have a point.
And the fact that
very
Aruba's
convoluted.
getting better at this doesn't make me comfortable, because that only means that there are things that are happening there that really shouldn't be.
But just like in the Vandersloot case, they couldn't hold him because there was not enough evidence to criminally charge him. So there are pros at this now.
Well,
so
you
they
mentioned
can.
Vandersloot and the whole Natalie Holloway situation. You know, I wonder, though, how confident should we be in the officials in Aruba to deal with all of this and to make sure whether this man is guilty or innocent, that justice will be served, properly handed out?
I think it's a great question, Rick, but I think we need to have confidence based upon their past history. You know, in the past, they haven't been able to get it together, at least as far as Vandersloot was concerned, but they've learned from that. And I think as a result of that, they'll be more attentive in their investigations, they'll be more careful in the investigations, and I think ultimately they will get justice here.
But yet they must follow our rules or their laws, and you have to have probable cause in order to charge someone and to detain them for further than these 8 days that they're allowed to.
No witnesses seeing him in the water. Her boyfriend and sister, the girl's boyfriend, saying she didn't like water sports. There's no way she'd do it. She was too into herself,
I'm
into
not
beauty,
believing
into her
that one.
makeup. She's not inclined to go there with him. I think that no witnesses seeing him there, there's going to be probable cause. They're going to be held,
All right.
and you're going to see 8 days
we
later
shall
he'll
see.
still be in jail.
We'll see what happens.
Thank you both, Joey and Keisha. Good of you
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Yes.